Well, first of all, I just want to make, my first remark is I thought that, when I walked out there, I just can't believe that our student section was sold out, here on November 2nd. And I mean, it caught me off guard. That was amazing. And I'm realistic enough and been around other places enough to know that on November 2nd, there aren't too many student sections that look like ours did tonight. So I want to thank the students, thank everybody that came out tonight. We had a good crowd. It was great to play in the Cintas Center. For me, it's been a long, long time coming. And really for our players, I thought they were excited to finally kind of begin again. The first half, I was surprised on a number of levels. We had 0 steals. It was almost like we were, almost trying too hard or being tentative. And, you can't play basketball that way. For us to play 20 minutes, I think they had 2 turnovers and we had 0 steals. They had 44 points. They drove us. They had 3-point shots. In the first half, we fouled out of weakness. We fouled because we were getting beat. And, 45-44, we could have been better offensively. But, when you look at that, it's hard to criticize your offense when you go in at half with 45 points. Second half, and again, it didn't happen right away. I think the final score, 80-62, it felt more like a 6 to 8 point win than an 18-point win. But I think the last 11-plus minutes, they scored 5 points. That's to our credit. I thought we wore them down a little bit. Our guys, as the game went on, started to play better defensively. Colby Jones was a big reason. I mean, we had 0 steals at the half. He had 5 steals himself in the second half. So when you have one player that sets the tone like he did defensively, it leads to some other guys. And I thought our confidence grew in the second half all the way around, but in particular defensively. You guys may say, well, Coach, like you're playing Kentucky Wesleyan, it's an exhibition game. I mean, should have been easier. There's lessons to be learned in every game. This is something we can draw on. We finished strong. We had a better showing in the second half defensively. Again, 44 points in the first half. They had 18 in the second half. And I really commend our guys for coming out after halftime and just overall doing a better job.
Coach, you've got to see your team play 2 games now against opponents. What have you learned about your team so far?
Well, I think the first thing is anytime there's a new head coach, new coaching staff, I don't care how many players are returning or what happened before, it takes a little bit of time, in fairness to everybody. It just does. Terminology, practice structure, playing a game for the first time and having a new voice. So there's no doubt about it, like we're working through a number of things. And I think because of that, each week right now, I believe this, we can get a lot better. I think we can really improve every week, every 10 days, we can be a much better overall team. But we have to really improve on defense. I think if you looked at our team, if you looked at the success maybe even of a year ago, it tilts more to the offensive side than the defensive side. It's not because we're playing 2 bigs. It's because we have to get better as a team. And we're working on it. We might be a little bit better tonight than we would have been a week ago if we played this game, believe it or not. But defensively is a lot of eggs in that basket right now for us to teach, for them to learn, for us to get repetitions. Some of it is to play the right combinations of players so that we can make the other team miss. Who is it that's our best defensive lineup? When you have Dez and Cam, these are guys that are in college for the first time, so they're going to continue to develop and get better. So it was great for them to get some opportunity tonight. But that's what I've learned. Defensively, we have a ways to go, and I think initially here, we're just finding our footing all the way around.
You mentioned Colby in the second half. Do you have a conversation with him at halftime, or is that him just sensing that he's needed, that was required?
I've talked to Colby a number of times about being a tone setter. You know, he's an awesome leader because he leads by example. He shows up, works every day, practices hard every day. He's a very talented player. He embodies the qualities that you want in a team, that he does everything. You know, he takes pride in defense. He rebounds the ball. He's very unselfish on offense. You know, his overall well-roundedness is what makes him such a good player. Now, the downside to that is, you know, he can't always blend in. And I thought that he showed that ability in the second half of tonight's game to change the game, to set the tone for his teammates. 5 steals. It's really hard to get 5 steals in 20 minutes in college, right? I mean, that's like a dominant effort. And I thought that his defense alone, in many regards, set the tone for others. I'll tell you the other thing, you know, that I have learned, and I thought it really showed out here tonight. You know, I thought Zach Fremantle was outstanding. We need Zach to be the best he can be. We need him to be consistent. We need him to just continue to grow and develop. He had 5 assists and 1 turnover. He had 13 rebounds. You know, he was 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 8 for 14 from the field. You know, he was the best player on the court tonight, 22 points. And when he plays like that, you know, that really allows us, I think, to be the best team that we can be. And to allow him to be consistent, to stay on him, and for him to have the best year that he's had so far, you know, I think that's an ingredient that has to be in place for our team to have success this year. But I thought him and Colby, not that others didn't, I thought each guy maybe had their spots, but the 2 best players for us tonight were Colby Jones and Zach Fremantle.
Coach, we knew coming into this year, point guard was the one spot where you wouldn't have a returning player at that position. What have you thought of your point guard play to this point, not just in this game, but the preseason in general?
So I would say my comments a minute ago really refer as much to that position. So it's just unfair to judge Sule or Dez right now. I mean, they both just got here. And in Sule's case, he's more of a combo guard than a point guard. We knew that. He knows that. Dez obviously is a very talented point guard. I believe this. Every day, every week that goes by, that position will continue to improve and shore up. Dez learned a ton of lessons tonight. One lesson was this, that when the other team subs, when we shoot a free throw, you have to be able to not only match up with who you have, but you have to make sure that all 5 guys are matched up. We gave up 2 3-point shots in the first half because they subbed on a free throw and we didn't know who we were guarding. So again, youthfulness, inexperience. But I think you see with Dez, he has an abundance of talent. He had a couple plays in the game, again, that set the tone for us. He's going to only get better because he has a great attitude. I also feel that way about Sule. He didn't necessarily have his best game tonight, but the more he plays and the more he gets out there, I think, you know, the more solid and confident he'll get. He looks to me, Sule, like he's pressing a little bit. You know, he wants to do well. He's had a great summer. He came here to accomplish a lot of things as a team. And sometimes he just has to take a deep breath and settle in. And, you know, that's our job as a staff to make sure that we can get him to that point. But our point guard play has been up and down, for sure. And I do think it'll settle in as we keep moving forward.
Back here in the back, you talked about needing Zach to be at his best. He talked to us a few minutes ago about over the offseason, the soul searching that he did, and maybe a priority check for him. How have you seen Zach change as a person or as a teammate over the course of the last 4 or 5 months?
Well, I think the hardest thing to do as a person, I wish I could do it better, is to change your body, right? I mean, when you wake up every single day and sacrifice and work as hard as our team has, but in particular Zach, if you look at Zach's body right now physically, there aren't too many players pound for pound that are bigger, stronger, or in the shape that he's in. That has taken a ton of work the last 4 or 5 months. So I think he's really invested in that. Thing that I've learned about him is he loves the game. He doesn't, some guys say they love it. He really loves it. He comes in the gym late at night, early in the morning. It's just one of the things that I think we're trying to do with him is just really understand that teamwork and that togetherness, the consistency every day. And because when he plays like he played tonight, that's the best version of our team moving forward. I mean, he could do it. I mean, again, when you look at his career, when you look at where he's at right now, I think he's primed to have a really, really good season. When he hasn't been as good, our team hasn't been nearly as good. I would say practice, our scrimmage, and, thank goodness tonight he played the way he did. I mean, it's a big reason why we won.
Can you fill us in on what Adam Kunkel's dealing with and maybe a timeline on his return?
Yeah, he has a foot sprain, probably a sprain. He got injured in the exhibition or in our scrimmage. At first, we worried that it was maybe worse than we thought, but through X-rays and all the things that we've done with him, I think it's just a matter of days before he returns. And clearly, Adam gives us more firepower, more experience, and we need everybody we can get. But I anticipate there's a chance that he could be available on Monday, but I do think if he's not, that he's a week or days away from being back.
Coach, without Adam, you obviously got to give Kiki a little bit of extended time with 16 minutes. What did you take away from his performance for a guy who missed a lot of last season, kind of really trying to get his legs underneath him again playing basketball?
What I said about Zach, I'll say the same thing about Kiki. There's nobody that has worked harder in the offseason on our team than Kiki Tandy. He's completely changed his body. I think he was as heavy as 215. Right now he's 180. He lost 6-7% body fat, which is incredible, and he's worked hard. I think he gives us that firepower off the bench that a lot of good teams have, his ability to shoot and score. What we're trying to get him to do better is defend. He gave up a couple threes in the first half that, look, Kiki's not 6'5", so he's got to press up. He's got to be responsible, right? He's got to close out. You can't let the guy shoot or be late. So I think we're really working with him, our whole team, but especially him, to be more responsible, more trustworthy on defense. I think on offense right now, he gives us a few things that we really need. But I really love coaching Kiki. His attitude has been great.